Hello again, Monday night, in the know, Racing Post and Coral. I'm Ross Brierley. It is the fourth Cheltenham preview show for you, and as some of our anti-post bets start to fall by the wayside, and the handicap weights come out and we start to tie ourselves in knots, hopefully we can cleanse the palate a little bit with, in theory, touch wood, a few races that seem fairly simple to solve, possibly? I don't know, maybe they're famous last words. We'll also be looking back at the weekend's action and getting excited about, look, it isn't all Cheltenham, and Kelso will certainly tell you that. We've got a cracking card coming up on Saturday by the looks of things too. But what have you learned over the past few days, and are you a little bit clearer on your Cheltenham portfolio with a little over 2 weeks to go? Let us know in the chat. It is, of course, live and interactive. Who are the early birds catching the worms? It's David Watchman, it's Dale Grimble, it's Brian Galt, it's Elliot S. Good evening to you and anyone else who joins from here on in. Like, subscribe, get involved. We're going to be doing four races where Willie Mullins has some fairly short price comfortable favourites, but that could be pretty much 50% of the races at the festival, couldn't it? We've got the Turners, we've got the Ryanair, and we've got the Mayor's Novice and the Mayor's Chase for you this evening. And we do, as ever, have a tip-top panel, including, to my left, Mr. Paul Kealy. How was your trip to Kempton on good ground on Saturday?
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, it was so soft. Like, I basically got two. We're talking about. I just saw it. They were saying it's like 3's on to be good to soft ground at Cheltenham because there isn't much rain forecast. I mean, these forecasts aren't worth buttons, are they?
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't any rain forecast.
It was two.
Last week.
It was 2 to 4 mil or something they were forecast at Kempton, and they got 12.
Yeah.
And I thought the ground was horrible. The times were pretty slow, and yeah, and I don't know why I wasn't cashing out some of the bets I had, but I didn't. I let them all run and paid for it.
Yeah.
Just got out of it with the anti-post bet on Rubo, who, what a courageous horse that is. I think he'd get 3 mile on good ground, by the way. He was going away again at the line.
Well, I mean, there are some horses who do spend a large portion of their career running over one trip, and then they try another trip, and connections must turn to each other and go, are you kidding me? We just wasted 2 years.
Why haven't we done that? Yeah.
And he looked like, he really toughed it out.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he's a tough horse. Like, he was getting weight from Boombourne, and he's only won a length or whatever, so it's not, you can't say it's standout form. But I mean, again, he doesn't really want that ground. He's a good ground horse. He gets it. He'll put up a nice performance somewhere, I think.
And I believe Paul Nicholls is starting a petition to make every Saturday have a right-handed, flat-tracked, 2.5 mile graded chase.
Yeah,
is that right?
Absolutely. You can do rather well at them, can't he? Yeah. Yeah. Other things that happened.
Was he the highlight of your weekend? Personally and sportingly?
Personally as well. I mean, I thought Katati Dory was really good. He just tore that race apart, didn't he? Like, that was impressive. I mean, there were loads of people moaning about how much Highland was given to do. I mean, I think they've got a reasonable case there, but I don't think he'd have got anywhere near the winner anyway.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? But he was sort of way out the back, wasn't he? Like, for a long way.
I mean, that's look, and we'll get to Tom in a second. But how many times have we seen Charlie? This is exactly why Tom fancied him on Friday night. How many times have we seen Charlie Deutsch do exactly that on staying chases? I mean, it wasn't a Venetia Williams horse, but it might as well have been.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely, yeah.
It doesn't always have to be a bad ride on the loser. It could be a good ride on the winner.
Yeah, it was a good ride on the winner. But by the same token, I mean, I think Katati Dory would have won easily anyway because he just destroyed them. And of course, we had the Adonis Juvenile Hurdle where the winner got an RPR of 116. Mondo Man really held up that Lulamba form, didn't it? Why isn't East India odds on?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting that way, isn't it? It's certainly getting that way. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Look, well, I'm going to come to Tom for that. So, hello to you, Mr. Tom Segal. Look, this is
I knew this, Ross. I gave 4 out of 5 winners.
I know you did.
And you're gonna have a go at me about Mondo Man.
No, that's not true. I was literally about to set up exactly the same thing. I was about to say, Tom, you were on fire. With in particular, Katati Dory, obviously, you called that. Like I said, you put that up. You almost
very kind.
You almost predicted exactly how that horse would win. But the one horse you said was a certainty was the one that got me.
It's true. It's true. I bow down to your greater reading of that race tonight. It was horrible from the word go, wasn't it? Mondo Man did nothing right.
No. But you're right. I'm sitting smug about essentially a 7-4 shot. But tell us about. I mean, Katate Dori. Look, I mean, if he. Look, he obviously has got a stone in hand. Given his age and his experience, I partly suspect he might have another stone in top of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was writing this thing in the weekend. I mean, when is a hard race not a hard race? Do you know what I mean? I mean, was watching the Olympics in the summer, and the woman Hassan ran in the 5,000 meters, the 10,000 meters, and the marathon in the same week. No one's talked about her having a hard race. She won the marathon, the final race. So people go on and on about these hard races. Rough Quest won the Grand National after 2 weeks after running second in the Gold Cup. Who knows who's going to have a hard race? If he runs at the Cheltenham Festival, he's got to be favourite for the race he runs in. He just has to be, because he's a rapidly improving chaser, isn't he? That could have another stone in hand, as you pointed out. So I don't know where he's going to run. He could run in the. I presume, can he run? He's four chases. Which one will he have to run in, or can he not run in any of them? I don't know. I presume he can run in the Kim Muir, can he?
What's he in? He's in the ultimate. He can definitely go in. He can definitely run in the National Hunt, can't he? Because that's a novice, so that's okay. No, 4 chases. David Stevens, you're a man who knows. You should know this kind of thing. What can he run in?
I'd say we can run him, but betting wise, he's 10-1 for the ultimate. He's 8-1 for the National Hunt, whatever, the old 4-miler.
Yeah.
And he's 8-1 for the Kim Muir. So they appear to be his 3 options, certainly according to
it's a minimum of 4 chases. So yeah, he's all right. He's fine. He's absolutely fine. He's fine.
So if he runs in one of them, Ross, he's got to have a great chance, doesn't he? I wouldn't be putting on, especially the Kim Muir. I don't know, maybe get Will Biddick on him or someone, and he'd have a great chance in that, wouldn't he? It's not a great race ever, unless I know your way of thinking's running. Well,
and also to be fair though, I mean given the Ultima entries, there might be 8 runners in that.
Yeah, that's another point. We're going to come to that a bit later. I thought the new changes, everyone loves them. I'm not convinced it's done the Ultima any good myself.
No.
Taking all those sort of horses you want to back out of it and leaving a whole load of horses that you don't want to back in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true. Other things to mention. What else did we have? Obviously, the Bobby Joe chase at the weekend. Nick Rocket and Intense Raffles. Obviously, that one too. I mean, that'll have. We talk about Katate Dori. He could be a future national of some kind. I mean, there are 15 nationals around the country, aren't there? So he might win 3 or 4 of those. But that did either of those two tickle your pickle for an Aintree? Hope?
I'm not a great Nick Rocket fan. I think he's a bit of an L for me. He's a bit of a lummox. I'm not sure he's the best jumper, but having said that, he's a better jumper than I am Maximus, who won it last year.
Yeah. And
so maybe jumping it. I've talked about this a lot, haven't we? That jumping's maybe not that important. Not convinced by him. I mean, Intense Raffles ran a great trial, didn't he? He'll be a stone better off at Aintree. He's won an Irish national. He's got the profile of national winners. I wouldn't put anyone off having a few quid on him for sure.
Although I think the race that might have the most impact at Cheltenham was on Thursday last week, Tom, possibly?
Well, I'm hoping so. Before Cowabunga came out, I was really looking forward to the Turners. I thought New Lion, Final Demand, Cowabunga, what a great race. 3 potentially really top-class horses head-to-head. Cowabunga's fallen by the wayside. But William Money, who I thought was incredibly impressive, has come into the Supreme. Now, Kopek de Board has that race by a strangle in the markets. It's like all over by the shouting. But I thought William Money was really impressive. I think Romeo Coolio's a shot in that. So the race I'm really looking forward to now has changed. It was the Turners, and now it's the Turners. Now it's the Supreme. I think there's some players in there, and I think at 14, 16 to 1 or whatever he is each way, William Money rates is a pretty good bet.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, the third was the most Martin Pipe of all Martin Pipe runs I've ever seen in my life, I think. The
whole world is on that. Henry de Bromhead's horse, Top and Go or
Tap
something.
on the Go, yeah. Well, I mean,
Tap
look,
on the go.
It was Waterford Whispers last year, 20 to 1 into 5 to 1, 1 to 2 at the final hurdle, and broke my heart on the train home. So I can't wait to go through it all again. But
You will.
But yeah, that looked an interesting race, a good race, didn't it? At Punchestown on Thursday. David Stevens, what did you like from a personal point of view, from a punting point of view, from an anti-post point of view? Anything for the last few days for you?
Well, yeah, full disclosure, what I've enjoyed over the last few days was a few days in the sunshine in Palma. So,
Crikey, I mean, you can see it, David. Look at that. You are glowing, my friend.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I was glued to all of the racing, but I did try and do a little bit of catch up this morning. I mean, Keels mentioned East India Dock Road. There wasn't the odds on. Well, he's not odds on, but he has joined Lulamba at the head of the Triumph betting. They're now 2-1 joint favourites. Obviously, Mondo Man not doing a lot for that Lulamba form, and James Owen being very bullish, it seems, about East India Dock Road, and why not? Nick Rocket, you mentioned, and Intense Raffles. Intense Raffles, no surprise, is shorter in the national betting, 10-1 than Nick Rocket at 12-1. And I've got some I've got some news. I don't know if it's good or bad, Kills, but we're talking about the rain and the forecast. We've opened betting on what will the official going be this year's
I'm not getting involved.
For everyone else that might want to get involved, 1-3, the official going for the Supreme Novices, good to soft, 9-4 soft. I've looked at a forecast today that pretty much has the sort of temperatures I've just had for the last couple of days for the next 10 days. So there is no chance at all that will be right, because, as Kills quite rightly says, the forecasters know less about it than we do.
Okay, lovely stuff. Thank you, David, who's clearly less interested on Tap on the Go and has been all over the tapas at the weekend. So, get your thoughts in for those races in the chat, as we said, and then let's get stuck into them one by one after this.
You want over £2,000 in Cheltenham free bets? Visit racingpost.com/free bets, the ultimate hub for betting offers. Racing Post. Stay ahead of the field.
All right, here we go then. Let's get stuck into a few more tasty Cheltenham races, although, as we said, the one we're going to start with is slightly less tasty than it maybe was about 48 hours ago. And if the betting arrives on screen, I'll give it to you, which hopefully it will. And
Would you like me to?
No, I hold faith in our producers, and look, they got there eventually. And that's all that matters. That is all that matters. Final demand is 6-4 then for the Turners. Kopek de Board 2-1 if he runs, which he probably won't. The New Lion is 5-2. The Yellow Clay 5-1. Romeo Coolio 7-1. James's Gate 10-1. 6 Mile Bridge 12-1. Potter's Charm 14-1. And bigger the price as the rest. And of course, it's a race there where a few people will be holding on to double figure slips on some nice horses. Not all of them are running, as we've seen, Tom. And like you said, I mean, look, it happens every year. Cowabunga is now out. So, but look, on the upside, you now get to look at this race with fresh eyes. That said, if you thought Mullins had a big chance with Cowabunga, it now opens up even more for Final Demand, doesn't it? Who looks a bit of a beast, and I know it's a bit of a cliche, but can't wait to see him over a fence. But for now, can't wait to see him over a hurdle in this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was really good at the Dublin Racing Festival, wasn't he? I think he surprised the Mullins team, if truth be honest, the way he strode away from the final hurdle. He's got a big opponent in the New Line. Everyone wants to denigrate the Challow hurdle form. I'm not convinced. I think that was still a good race. I think the trend's gone mad to say that a Challow hurdle winner can't win the Turners. I mean, it's just nonsense to me. I hate trends anyway, as you well know. But I think the two of them stand out. I mean, I think with Cowabunga coming out of the race, I think the Yellow Clay has more chance of staying in this race. Mm-hmm. I thought he might move to the Albert Bartlett because that was looking quite weak. But I think he might stay in here now because his form in the Lawlers of Naas looks good. He beat Wingman just as far as Final Demand did, so he's right in there. And 6 Mile Bridge is the British hope, isn't he? Because while everyone was saying Potter's Charm ran miles below form at Cheltenham, he did beat him very easily, and he's on the upgrade 6 Mile Bridge. If the ground's not too bad, I'd give him a shot of hitting the frame. But for me, it's a straight match. I can't choose really. I mean, I Final Demand and the New Lion. I look at the prices. I'd probably stick with the New Lion, but Final Demand was really, really good at Leopardstown.
Yeah, interesting comment in the chat there. Big Shug says, I get Denman vibes from Final Demand. I think he'll just fall short in this. Now, interestingly, the last time the race at Final Demand won threw up the winner of this was when Nicanor beat Denman, because normally that race at Leopardstown last time out, and I think, again, if it wasn't for the owners, normally that race is a perfect springboard for a 3-miler.
Well, yeah, when the year Nicanor came from it was only 2 mile 4.5 furlongs, I think, then as well. So it's gone up to 2 mile 6 and whatever. And since then, the winner of that has never come on to win it. It's just like the winner of the Challo has never come on. Now, it's, you talk about your trends, whether you like them or not. I'm sure it is just a statistical blip, but it does keep on happening at the same time. Don't know why. I look at this and I think, yes, I'm not going to argue that they're the right pair at the head of the market, and it's odds on that one of them will win. But I just got that sneaky feeling that they both won average races really well, and that's what I question. I mean, I know Tom likes Wendigo. I'm not that convinced about that one. So yeah, Final Demand's only beaten Wingman by the same distance as Yellow Clay has, and the New Lion. Does the form stand out? I mean, I know Wendigo won next time, but he was 11 on. And Regent Stroll got beat, Bill Joyce got beat, finished behind Potter's Charm. And I'm absolutely convinced that Potter's Charm didn't run his race that day. I mean, we've all heard about them arguing about whether they should go for that race beforehand. And as normal, Nigel wins the day when the others didn't really want to run.
Yep.
Sam said he just had no feel from him straight away, so I'd give him another shot. I'm not saying he'll beat 6 Mile Bridge, but I think they're two decent British horses as well. If I was having a bet now, I would back Potter's Charm each way without massive confidence. I do think the front two are the right front two, but I just got that sneaky feeling that they've just beaten average horses.
Yeah, I mean, I would say. I think slightly less so for Final Demand. I mean, again, like Novices, I've said this a couple of times, but I like to look at what they beat in the maiden as well. And Final Demand beat Will the Wise 15 lengths, who dotted up at the weekend. He beat Timmy Tuesday half the track, who's rated like mid 120s as well.
Yeah,
I know he only beat him, but he's a big. Given the size of him, and and his pedigree and everything, he should be a 3-mile chaser.
I don't try not to pay too much attention to Irish maiden hurdle form because it just tries at the front.
Yeah, that is true.
You know what I mean? So, and that's, that bothers me. So what they've beaten in them, I don't worry about too much. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. What he did in that Grade 1 was really, really good, wasn't it? You can't really knock it. And it was just the further he went clear. But he's coming back a furlong. And if the weather forecasts are right, you know what I mean? It's not going to be soft ground. So, it asks another question, doesn't it?
Yeah. Since Paul Townend took over as first jockey for at Mullins, their record in this race is third, second, first. So they're starting to figure it out now. My main concern about the New Lion, Tom, is that it's not the trends or anything like that. I guess it is trends in a way, but certain trainers for certain type of horses. Just saying about Mullins, I mean, Skelton's run 14 horses in novice hurdles at Cheltenham, no wins and 1 horse placed, and it's just. The Mullins camp have got 5 or 6 horses that they could have gone for this, and they send their best one. This year, Gordon Elliott, at this point, has won just as many Grade 1s in Ireland as he had by the end of last season, and he's still got Punchestown to come, and he will probably send the Yellow Clay. So it feels to me that the New Lions are going to turn up and go, I won that Chello, I'm a talented horse, I am. And the Mullins and the Elliott horses will go, look, mate, we've been through the ringer. We know we're the best of the bunch at home, and he'll be up against it again.
It's possible. It's very possible, isn't it? As you guys pointed out, Skelton hasn't got a great record in novice hurdles, and he hasn't. And the New Lions form's not working out brilliant. I just think he's a really good horse. I think he's a really, really good horse. I think he's potentially going to be running in the Champion Hurdle next year. I think he's a fast, good horse. This race is often won by fast horses. I don't know. I think he's going to run really well. I wouldn't back him at 5-2. Do I think he can win? I certainly think he can win. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's funny you say that. I think I would prefer. I think he'd have more chance of winning a Supreme almost in a way because of that extra that cruising speed and stamina. But just a couple of the horses to mention. One was James's Gate, who obviously, given connections, he thought surely this will be a Coral Cup horse, but not entered in any of the handicaps, and was obviously. Has that mix of speed and stamina. And do we give... where is he? Am I going mad? What price is he? What price is Fingal Bridge? Have I gone mad, or is that? I thought he could. He's a very big price, isn't he? I mean, is he going to go?
20-1.
Is he going to go for Ollie Murphy? I thought he just keeps on winning.
Yeah. I mean, all these. Ollie Murphy's got, funnily enough, has had a few horses run well in these handicap, in these novice hurdles over the years, hasn't he? He had
Itchy Feet.
Itchy Feet, and another one that year. They ran, and so yes, I get it. I just look. I'm not a trends man, but my trends tell me that Willie Mullins or Dan Skelton are going to win lots of races at Cheltenham Festival, and you can, the prices tell you that anyway. So I'm not splitting the atom. I think they're two outstanding horses myself, and I think they'll be better than the rest.
Okay, Final One then 6-4 now. Rob Dixon says Final One will win, but Mullins might have a couple of outsiders worth a place with Galbao and Kiss Will. Brian Galt says James Gate not if runs for handicaps. That is true, but I wonder whether they haven't given him enough runs because they think he's good enough for a Grade 1, which would be interesting. And
8 now, isn't he, Ross? That must be a trend.
James's Gate was going to run in a handicap at the DOF, but was out coughing.
Right. Okay. So it might well be that just the plans
at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. David Stevens, anything in the Turners for you? With plenty of opinions thrown around there. Which one do you agree with?
Yeah, I know it's lost Cowabunga, but I still think this is a cracking racing prospect. So I put the Yellow Clay right in there with Final Demand and the New Lion. I just double checked actually the Gordon Elliott Stable Tour in last week's Racing Post, and he said he's always favoured the Turners for this horse, and that's still the plan. So I think we're going to have a big 3 in there. You've got the potential kind of staying chaser of the future in Final Demand versus the potential champion hurdle horse in the New Lion, and the Yellow Clay might just come and do both of them. I think it's still a really fascinating racing prospect. But if you do fancy the favourite, and he's a 6-4 shot to win it, but to win it by over 5 lengths is 4-1 from 3-1. But yeah, really good racing prospect. And just to say, Fingal Bridge, Ross, is a 20-1 shot.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I do think. I don't know. I quite like the way that he beat the Wellington Arch, who's entered at the weekend at Kelso. Actually, it's been interesting to see if that form gets a bit of a boost. Okay, that's the Turners then. Let's move on to more novices, shall we? But more specifically, the Mares Novice Hurdle, where 6.5 is 11-4. I'm sure, surely some of you have backed this at 13-2. Maureen is 3-1. Jubilee Alpha 6-1. Caroline Bamboo 8-1. Galileo Dame 8-1. Aurora Vega 12-1. Chrisma is 16-1. Just a Rose is 16-1, and that it is bigger prices the rest here for this Mares Novices Hurdle, which was a race that Willie Mullins loved. He won the first 5 renewals of it, and he hasn't won any of the past 4. And actually, possibly, despite the betting, might well, Paul Kealy, be one of the best chances of the British horses of winning a big race at the festival. Because I put it to you, sir, that the Irish Mares Novices, despite them dominating that betting, I've not been particularly impressed by any of them.
I don't think there's a massive standout. I definitely think you're right there. I think 6.5 is pretty good. I mean, she slammed Qualamita by 12 lengths. Qualamita ran really well at the DRF, and that big Mares handicap finishing third. So, I think she's probably the right favourite. I mean, the one I really like, Paul Nicholls very much does like Jubilee Alpha, doesn't he? But the one I like, if she runs, is Galileo Dame, the 4-year-old. There's only a handful of 4-year-olds who have ever tried this, and they've all been rank outsiders. But I think she'd have a proper shout. I mean, she's 3/4 of a length off Hello Neighbour in the Grade 1 at Leopardstown, staying on really strongly. She got some obviously cracking listed form, second to Hamish at the Curragh in November. I just think 2 mile 1 furlong round, that extra distance at Cheltenham was going to suit her down to the ground. I just have a feeling that this is much easier for her to win than the Triumph Hurdle.
What is this? Is this a brainworm from studying that, or is there any hint whatsoever that she might choose this over the Triumph?
Other than the fact that she's in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, I've got no idea.
That is a good point, actually. Yeah.
That's what I'd like to see her run, but they don't. I said 4-year-olds, only a handful have gone, so they don't tend to. But I'd be looking at this race and think, hang on a minute. I mean, the the best RPR of any horse in this, something like 130 or something, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? It's just nothing special.
Yeah.
It's just nothing special at all. Like, you know, she'd be getting £10. She'd be getting £10 of them. Obviously, we haven't seen the best of any of them, have we? Because they're all lightly raced. But I just thought she was the most interesting at the prices.
Yeah. I'm going to come to you first, David, because it does feel like possibly one of, if not the only race at the festival where I genuinely think no one has a clue to a certain extent, and I think that is partly. I mean, are you? How are you pricing this up? Is it just, you know, Irish horse wins a hurdle impressively, right? Stick her in, she'll probably go. I mean, these prices to me, I don't know. It's just it's a new race, isn't it? There's loads of horses entered in here. It was, I don't know. It just seems like it could go either way.
Yeah, I think, look, in terms of the two horses at the head of the betting, trained by Gavin Cromwell, we know how highly Tom, Gavin Cromwell, top jockey, top trainer, Willie Mullins, we know how good he is. So there's no surprise to see two horses with ones by their name at the head of the betting. Wouldn't be a surprise if either of them won. But let's not forget, in this race last year, we had an Irish hot pot, the odds-on shot, but well beaten by Golden Ace in the end. And this does feel like a race. I know Paul mentioned there that Paul Nicholls is very keen on Jubilee Alpha. He's also got Just a Rose in there. It looks like both are going to go. Harry Cobden's going to ride the shorter of the two. No great surprise there. Look, Paul's not going to have many runners this year. We know that. And it does feel that the ones he send are going there with a chance. And I think Jubilee Alpha fits right into that. And again, no surprise. I thought what she did at Windsor, she was expected to do. She's been freshened up since then. This feels like, certainly, I don't know if Paul has said it's his best chance, but it certainly feels like one of, his few runners that are going to go there with a chance. And I don't disagree with that. But in terms of ones at the head of the betting, they're there because they're trained by two Irish powerhouses and they've got two ones by their name.
Yeah. Anything at bigger prices, Tom Segal? Again, or do you agree? Do you disagree? Is this a race with more depth than we're looking at? I mean, you're a man with plenty of charisma. Could she have a chance?
Yeah, she ran. That was her debut for Nicky Henderson, wasn't it? When she was third behind
Jubilee Alpha.
Jubilee Alpha at Windsor. Track wouldn't have suited her there. Yeah, she's got a chance. There's plenty you could. I quite like Diva Luna at a huge price for Ben Pauling, actually. Thrashed Jubilee Alpha in the entry bumper last year. Hasn't been at her best, I don't think. She's been a little bit disappointed. She got beaten at long odds on at Sandown last time, but lots of horses can get beaten in that quagmire up the straight there at Sandown. Before that, she jumped really well at Cheltenham when she won there. It wasn't a great race, but she won it. I thought she might go well at a big price, and also it's worth pointing out that the last three winners of this have been British trained.
Yeah.
You Wear It Well won it, Love Envoy won it, and last year Golden Ace won it as well. So wouldn't be ruling out the British horses. I do think 6.5 is very good though, because I thought for a flat, well, she started in bumpers, then went to the flat, Gavin Cromwell style. She jumped really well. She looked a pretty bit of a natural to me, so I'm not surprised. I don't like Maury. I think that's surely priced up on Mullins and relations and stuff like that, rather than what she's actually done. I prefer 6.5 of those two. And I don't know much about Caroline Bamboo, but I think she's probably worth a mention because she started long odds on for both her starts. She's not really got any form, but she started long odds on for both her starts, and it looks like the plan is to run it from the JP and Willie Mullins. So that's probably why she's 8-1. But I'm with Keels. I like Galileo Dame if she was to run in this race, but at a bigger price, I think Diva Luna's got a chance.
Yeah. Well, Caroline Bamboo, I mean, they when she got beat at odds on her debut, I mean, there were two horses, her and another one, were ding dong, ding dong, ding dong for about a furlong. And as always happens in those instances, a horse, Baby Kate in this instance, picked them up out of nowhere. But yeah, Diva Luna's really interesting, especially, I mean, Ben Pauling's got a 50% strike rate in the past 2 weeks. Obviously, he had a fantastic weekend as well. It'd be really interesting because the horse that beat Diva Luna last time, Castle Carrick, is also entered at Kelso at the weekend. And, that horse had won a bumper, would cost $100,000. It might well be that she just ran into a bit of a monster on that occasion.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, I like her as a profile for the race. You know what I mean? I think she'll stay really well. I think she'll run up the hill really well. I think she'll jump really well. It's just whether she's quite classy enough. But she was definitely a classy bumper horse, and I'm not sure we've seen her at her best yet. And if she does bounce back, she's a player.
Also worth mentioning, given that Jamie Snowden won this with a big price, Hollygrove Char Char as well. It got beat by Jubilee Alpha, but that was at Taunton over 2 miles and good to soft. And, if you're winning graded races over 2.5 miles at soft ground at Sandown, that Taunton race was not her right conditions. So I thought she was a bit big. What price Hollygrove Char Char, David?
Hollygrove Char Char is a 20 to 1 shot, and Diva Luna is a 25 to 1 shot.
All right, there you go. Anything else in this race, poor Kealy?
Not for me, no. I was with the one horse blinkers, really.
Say that again.
Oh, I've got one horse blinkers, really. Just want to back Galileo down.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to have to ask you again when the debts come through, and it could go either way, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
You could be thrilled to bits or absolutely livid. Anything? Let's have a look. What do we got on the chat? Do the panel think Just the Roads having one run over hurdles is a positive or a negative? Ideally, I'd like more practice, but Nichols must not be too concerned. Although Big Shrug says she's had a setback. It's not ideal in a Cheltenham novice, is it? To just turn. It doesn't matter how impressive you are.
I mean, you don't want setbacks in the run up to Cheltenham anyway, do you?
Oh no, I just mean a horse turn up. You win one impressively. I still want them to see you back it up before they come here. Would that be fair?
Yeah, you'd prefer to, wouldn't you? Because you don't know what that form's worth, do you? When they only do it once.
Yeah. Okay. David Stevens. Sorry, Tom.
Concertista, did that win it off? Oh no, she nearly won it, didn't she?
Yes.
She was second, wasn't she? On never having run before.
That was I was going to say that was her debut, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, never having run before. So.
And then she won it. She won it the next year when she was still a novice. Yeah.
Yeah. But first time up, I think she ran in it, and she'd never run over hurdles before. I don't know. That's my memory.
No, you're right.
She was a 66 poke.
Yeah, she was done on the line.
So if you're classy, you can win it if you've only had one run.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, David Stevens, anything else before we move on?
No, only Jubilee Alpha to finish in the first three is 7 to 4 from 5 to 4 until 7:30 tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, here we go from the Ryanair Mares Novice to the Ryanair itself. Where Factor File is 6 to 4 favourite, Ile Francais is 3 to 1, Gaelic Warrior 7 to 2, Banbridge 4 to 1, Protector at 9 to 2, Spillane's Tower 5 to 1, Energumene 7s, El Fabiolo 8 to 1, and that bet in. Look, there's quite a few races in the festival so far this year that where you look at it and I start to think. I think I must have had half a bottle of wine when I'm looking at those entries. I'm thinking, all those horses, 6 to 4 to 8 to 1 between them lot. But obviously, the majority of those won't even turn up. Some might not turn up to Cheltenham at all. Some might run in the Champion Chase. Some might run in the Gold Cup. Who knows, quite frankly, Paul Kealy?
More I'm looking at this, the more I'm thinking this is going to end up right competitive. If the weather forecast is correct, for instance, then Gaelic Warrior won't run in the Champion Chase.
No.
He'll come here.
And when you say correct, as in like it won't be soft?
If it's not soft ground, Gaelic Warrior will come here. Because he won't be fast enough. I think Banbridge is Gold Cup or nowhere. I think that was that's the idea. But it needs to be no worse than good to soft for him to run in the Gold Cup. But I don't think Ile Francais will run in the Champion Chase if it's not soft ground.
Yeah.
And then you've got Spillane's Tower, Protectorat. Right, you know what I mean? It could be a very good race, and all these horses will be bigger prices because that obviously, one of Energumene and El Fabiolo will be here as well. I don't think they'll both run in the Champion Chase.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it could be.
You would imagine El Fabiolo more likely just because he keeps getting taken off his feet and falling or seating over two.
Yeah. But I mean,
so depressing, isn't it, Keels?
Yeah, of course it is.
So depressing having this race, the Ryanair. I mean, imagine the Champion Chase and the Gold Cup with all these horses in it. Instead of having odds-on favourites in the Champion Chase and the Gold Cup.
Well,
get rid of the Ryanair.
I mean,
get rid of the Turners. Get rid of the Ryanair.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but then they've done that, and everyone's complained about how the.
A couple of times, you know what we'd do? We'd get rid of 10 races and go back to 3 days, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We would,
you know what I mean? So, but that's.
But do you see what I mean? Just what you said there is that. You were going through them, and every one of them could have been running in a different race.
Oh, yeah. We literally got zero idea about the lineup. I mean, we don't even know about Factor File because he's still second favourite for the Gold Cup, isn't he?
Well, I mean, you look at you look at this. You go Gold Cup, Champion Chase, Gold Cup, Champion Chase is what they probably should be running in. So
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. The look, here's a bold decision, Tom. get rid of all your mid races. You have your speed horses, you have your stayers. Get rid of the handicaps, get rid of the bumpers, get rid of all of that. We just have you either running this race, or you're running that race, or you don't go to Cheltenham.
It's funny, isn't it?
Day.
One day.
One day.
Get it all done in one day.
Exactly. All week we've had, isn't the fact that they got rid of the 2.5 mile Novice Chase brilliant, because now we know where Ballyburn's going? Well, not really. No, we've still got a 4-7 shot in the Arkle, and we've still got 6-4 shot in the Champion. It's not really working. But if this race, if you're going to get rid of that one, get rid of this one, because then you'd have a really good Champion Chase and a really good Gold Cup. But suffice to say, this is obviously a very good race.
Well, the only counterpoint to that argument is I can't remember the last time the Ryanair wasn't an absolute belter of a race. Like, we've never either. You have Allaho absolutely destroying them. Protectorat last year swinging along. That was a fantastic finish. Envoy LN, who, to be fair, might well have a chance of turning up. I mean, when Min won it, that was an absolute corker of a year. It's always a blinder of a race, isn't it?
Yeah, but so was the Turners, wasn't it? You had Gallop and the shop, you had Grey Dawn. They were great races. I loved it.
Yeah, okay. Well, bring them all back. Run more races. Let's have a 2 mile race, a 2 mile 2, a 2 mile 4.
Come on, Mr. Stevens. You be the mediator.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with every word you say, but we're not here to make the Cheltenham Festival 3 days again, unfortunately.
2 days, 1 day, David. 3 hours. Let's get it done by lunchtime.
What I would say is, yes, we've got an odds-on favourite in the Champion Chase, an odds-on favourite in the Gold Cup, but this could be an absolute cracker of a race.
Yeah.
Because the very reasons you've already outlined, I think most of those in the betting will turn up in this race because they're avoiding Gallop under Champ and Longchamp for various reasons. So it makes this race fantastic.
Sorry, who are they avoiding? Sorry, Gallop under Champ and
Longchamp.
They're avoiding going to Longchamp. They're not going to win. None of them will win an arc, David.
John Bond, I said.
You said Longchamp. You absolutely said Longchamp.
Gallop into Longchamp? Or?
Yeah. Lovely. Lovely. I was going to say beautiful wine in Mallorca, isn't it? Anyway, so David, you were saying.
So this race, absolute cracker of a race in terms of what's going to win it. I haven't got a clue. Love Le Francais. Got a bit of a blind spot about this horse, so I will back him wherever he goes and just love to see him hopefully jump around in front. But I love Banbridge, but you reckon he's the one that will go Gold Cup, not this race. So, which is good because the Gold Cup does need something. Yeah, brilliant racing prospect. And I want to take on Factor File because I just feel he's kind of lost his aura of invincibility in his last 2 defeats. So.
Well, I mean, a couple of things. One, a man who's been Mallorca in the weekend has to be pro Ryanair, right, for a start. No,
it's the other one. It was the orange one, but anyway.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
They couldn't see you on the way home because of your orange face.
But okay. And I put it to you, Tom Segal, as well. And given that we're talking about a 6-4 shot at the top of the betting, last year's Novice Chasers, pretty bad.
Yeah, not looking great, are they? They're not looking great. Yeah, I mean.
With that, I guess, with that in mind, could some of the old guard, your Protector and actually your Envoy Allens, obviously your Banbridge if he runs, might it be a bit of an old boys club?
Well, I mean, Protectorat was 7 or 8 to 1. I think it's still 7 or 8 to 1, not without the non-runner, no bet guarantee with some firms. That to me seems like a cork in each way bet because you know exactly what you're going to get. I know this is a better race than last year, but I think he looked as good as ever at Windsor. I really did, and I thought he'd run really well. I thought he'd be a crack in each way bet against these. Gaelic Warrior, I just don't like. I think whether he's in the Champion Chase or here, I just think he's not shown anything this year, so I'm against him. I'm still harbouring hopes that Le Francais runs in the Champion Chase because he would make that race. He would make that a proper championship race, as it is. It might not be that. If he comes here, obviously he provides a fantastic angle to it. But you've got Factor File, Spillane Tower, as you say. Are they as good as we thought they were? Who knows? I still think Factor File's got pretty latent ability. I mean, he was second in a bumper. He's got good festival form, so I could see if he came here why people would fancy him. But I just think Protectorat's going to run a great race. I think he just does. He just does at Cheltenham, And if there's some ease in the ground, but that's the one thing. You'll need a bit of ease in the ground. But it's interesting reading Dan Skelton's stable tour the other day when he said he wouldn't mind running him in a Champion Chase on soft ground. That's how quick he is. So, I like him. I think he'll run well.
If the weather forecast is correct, Mr. Paul Kealy, there is, and again, age catches up to us all, but, a horse whose record at the Cheltenham Festival is first, fell, odds on, third, first, second. His record fresh is first, fell, odds on, first, third, second, first, and was swinging along last year and has outstayed by Protectorat in soft ground. NVLN 20 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly see him in the frame. I mean, at the age of 11, can he win it? Probably not. I don't know. He's a cracking horse, isn't he? I mean, he was the second coming, wasn't he? And he didn't turn out to be quite that good. But I mean, he put up some incredible CV as well, isn't he? And he's still got that. He's still got that will to win, as evidenced by that return at Down Royal. So,
which was about £10 better off than Gaelic Warrior's done all season himself.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Gaelic Warrior has been terrible, and I had massive hopes for Gaelic Warrior this year. I thought he was, I thought he was going to be an absolute superstar, and he's been terrible. But the only thing is, they keep running him at Leopardstown, and I'm absolutely convinced he doesn't like Leopardstown, but. As Tom alluded to a couple of weeks ago, the Arkle's beginning to look like a big outlier, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? He's got that one massive run and nothing else. So Joy's got to be out a little bit. But when I was working on the Cheltenham book for this, I was doing all the form figures and that, and looking at marks and all that. And now I've backed Factor 5. I backed him at a decent price before the Savills because I've just had it in my head that he wasn't going to stay.
Yeah.
So part of me wants him to win, but then I saw it. His official rating exactly is the same as Jello.
Yeah.
Now, when I first saw that, I thought, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's got to be nonsense, isn't it? But then I started looking at the form and thought, well, hang on a minute. Show me the bit of form that tells me he's actually better. He's any better.
Yeah.
And it's not there. And
if last year's, last year's 3 mile Novice Chase was, let's be honest,
3/4 lengths from Monty Star, right? He returns, right? Okay, he beats Galloping Deschamps, but we know he's never fit for the John Durkan and 2.5 mile Amiens Chip. And Spallan's Tower's best piece of form the previous season was a neck trim from Monty Star.
Yeah.
Like, and he's since been lapped in the King George. Okay, then he gets stumped by Galloping at Leopardstown, and he's 5 lengths ahead of Gentleman's Game. So what? Right? And then he gets stumped again. Gets a little bit closer, but he's behind Grange Clare West, and he's no further ahead of Monty Star than he was last year. So we've got 3 runs. I mean, has he improved at all from being a novice?
No, I mean, he's just he's a very funny horse, obviously. He's got the weirdest profile of any horse. So I think partly people, he skipped his novice hurdle campaign. He beat everything in front of him last year, but he beat Zanna here. He beat Gaelic Warrior in a 2-horse race. He beat Monty Star.
Yeah,
so he's a very good horse. He's just 6-4 is a bit daft, right?
6-4 is daft, especially if we get better ground and these horses are parachuted in. Because we're still working on the premise that a lot of them aren't going to run. They're more likely to go somewhere else. Yeah. Like, what I mean? But I don't think that'll be the case. I'll be very surprised if he's not bigger than 6-4 on a day. You brought up Jello, but more as a counterpoint to Factor 5. Well, what about Jello? I mean, he ran a crack at the festival last year. The two I do like. Tom's mentioned Protector. I do worry about him if it is good ground on the day, because I think he wants soft ground, especially at his age.
Yeah.
Now, whereas Jello. I mean, to be fair, he's got an awful lot of form on soft ground, but he has, he was a massive eye catcher when he was second in the Horton Gold Cup over just 2.25 miles, wasn't he, on good ground. And he just keeps on improving, doesn't he? He's had one bad race this year, which was that one behind Protectorate. Don't know what that was, but...
I mean, I do have it slightly in the back of my mind that Windsor, obviously being new to the National Game, I'm slightly suspect about some of those form lines, if I'm honest. About some horses
absolutely. I mean, some horses didn't seem to turn up there, did they? Like, you know what I mean? It's a tight track, and I don't know why that should be. I mean, he whizzed around. I mean, Huntington's more of a galloping track, I suppose, but he whizzed around there when he slammed Protectorat. But yeah, he's got a victory over Protectorat to his name this year, over 2.5 mile, won easily. Again, he turned on the afterburners 3 out at Newby last time. He's just going forwards, and he's young. Hasn't been out the first 2 this year. He's run 3 career bests out of 4 runs this year. There's plenty to like about him at a double-figure price, isn't there?
I agree, yeah. And again, I mean, he's just a trainer, jockey, having a fantastic year as well. It's
You're happy with Cheltenham?
Well, I mean,
look. So last year.
I mean, I love the horse. I'm his
well, no, but
member of his fan club.
So last year he ran in that Novice Chase behind Grey Dawning and Journey's Destiny, who obviously were bomb-proof at Cheltenham. Behind him was Zane here, who had tons of experience at Cheltenham. Iroko had run at Cheltenham. Vassal Vega had run at Cheltenham. Sharjah had run at Cheltenham. He was the only horse, I think, out of memory, who was in that race. It was his first visit to the track, and he finished third in a Grade 1. So it's not bad, was it?
On RPRs, it was the best one of his life at the time. I mean, he's just probably wasn't quite ready for it, but he's grown up a lot this year.
I definitely prefer him going right-handed. I know the horse like the back of my hand. I know him.
I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't disagree. I do think he he is going to be better going, but he's certainly effective.
His best. It was Newbury last time out.
Yeah, still not convinced. He's out in the middle of the track, jumping a bit out to his right. I mean, look, I love the horse. I totally get at 20 to 1 or whatever he is, people having a few quid on him because he's an improver. He's a great jumper.
Shorter than that now, mate. He's about 12.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he 12s now? Yeah, but I just think at 7 to 1, Protectorate, we know what we're going to get.
Yeah.
Know what we're going to get, and he's, I think, got better form than anything in the race.
I tell you who I would back at a big price if he was to run, and he probably won't, and that's the Novice Springwell Bay. But he's in everything.
Yes,
yeah. You know what I mean? Which is the problem. But I mean, he has really developed into a good novice chaser this year. I'd imagine he'll run in one of the handicaps, and I'll back him for whichever one. But he won't be out of place because he's ever such a strong traveller. And I think he's going to be a Grade 1 horse, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I think firmly after that preview, we ain't getting rid of the Ryanair because that was the most I've enjoyed a debate about a Cheltenham race in ages. And there's a possibility, isn't there, that in fact, if LA Francais, there is a genuine possibility the first 6 in the betting there could turn up for this race.
But if they all run, it's the race of the festival, isn't it? Without any shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but it's more likely. There's some of the other novice races where where trainers have said we're definitely going for this, but obviously they have to be in the betting for the other one just in case something happens.
Yeah.
Whereas for this, I think there's a slightly more chance of most of these turning up. So you're going to get one of Factifile and Gaelic Warrior, aren't you? You're going to get one of Ile Francais and Banbridge probably. You're going to get, and then like you said, you're going to get the older bunch as well. Yeah, I don't know. It could be an absolute cracker, David Stevens. But let's boil down all that preview and what's our opinion again on the actual
Our opinion is we're getting rid of the Gold Cup or the Champion Chase. So take your pick. Which one do you want to get rid of?
What would if you've got £1? You can only back one horse right now, David Stevens. What's it going to be at those prices?
It would be Ile Francais. But I like Protectorate, and liking Protectorate means I think you've got to like Jello as well, and I just hope they all turn up. This time next year, we'll be saying we can't wait for the Ryanair. So
33p you're counting out, right, and a penny for good luck. Fair enough. Keel, same question to you.
I paid no attention there, mate. I was already studying the next race.
I said, what would win in a fight? One horse-sized duck or 50 duck-sized horses?
50 duck-sized horses.
Yeah, fair enough. And if you had a pound and you had to back one of these horses, what would it be?
It'd be Jello.
Okay, fair enough. And Tom, both of those questions to you.
The one that Keels didn't say about the ducks, the opposite, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And Protectorate.
Okay, fair enough. Lovely stuff. Okay, let's move on then to the Mayor's Chase, shall we? Where Dino Blue is 6-4 favourite. Well, what do you know if it isn't a Willie Mullins / JP McManus favourite here? 6-4, Allegoria Devassi 5-1, Spindleberry 5-1, Only by Night 5-1, Bioluminescence is 11-2. Limerick Lace is 6-1. Telepathique is 12-1. Bride's Hill is 20-1. And bigger the rest here for the Mayor's Chase. And last year, of course, Dino Blue was very well fancied. And then the money came for Limerick Lace. And Dino Blue was given quite a bit to do. It sounds like a Limerick now, doesn't it? And were beaten by Limerick Lace. It was given a peach of a ride. Which way will it go this year? Or so will Gavin Cromwell get involved with Only by Night? Or what I'm hoping, Tom Segal, is that we sack off all these trainers who win every year in, year out at the Cheltenham Festival, and Lucy Wadham sees Telepathique bounce out and run them all ragged from the front. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. I love that mare. She's really, really good, isn't she? But whether it's hard to know. I mean, what is she now? 12-1? That's probably about the right price. I wouldn't want too much shorter than that for her to be all those ones at the top. I don't think Spindlebury's going to run, is she? I think she was impressive beating Bioluminescence, who sort of blotted her copybook a bit at Punchestown, didn't she, over the weekend?
Is she's going to go to Fairy House instead? Is that right? Is that the aim, or
that's what the thing is? But these things change, don't they? But that was what the thing after the events was. Bioluminescence didn't do much for Dancing City's form, I didn't think. With I don't know, Spindlebury was backed as though defeat. Started 8-11 to beat her and absolutely walloped her, didn't he? So. Don't know. I thought Only by Night had a chance. She's a really good jumper. She's a point-to-point winner, so I wouldn't worry about her going up in trip. She was a bit laboured after the last at Exeter last time when she went over to win, but lots of horses are like that up the straight at Exeter. You think they're going to win by miles and they don't. So I'd give her a shot. And Telepathique has just jumps really well, doesn't she? She was really good at Fakenham, and then she was good again at Huntingdon, which is the wrong way round for her. Could see her going well, but I'm going to be really. I think Dino Blue's going to win. I thought she should have won last year. Thought she was given a negative ride because it was heavy ground and they thought she wasn't going to get the trip. I think she wants 3 miles really, so I can think they can be really, really positive with her this time. I think they'll crack out in front. I think it'll be really hard to beat her. If one does, I think it'll probably be Only by Night.
Okay. Is there a possibility, given that the Arkle's getting weaker and that Gavin Cromwell has chances in this, could Only by Night turn up there instead?
Yeah. Of course she should. Of course she could. But it's whether he think. I mean, I think she's got a much better chance of winning this than beating Madgeburg and Loda Sud, I would imagine. But she could do. Of course she could. She'll get weight there, won't she? £7. Dino Blue does have a penalty again, the Group Grade 1 penalty to give away. But I think she might be up to it this time. I thought she should have won last year. But I do think Only by Night and Telepathique are dangerous. Limerick Lace just seems to have gone at the game a bit, hasn't she? She's been really disappointing this season in her 2 runs.
Yeah, and last year she came off the back of an absolute demolition job, and she looked a bit of a monster, didn't she? But of course that last year that then kind of scuppered her Grand National chances, and it might well be the other way around this year.
It's possible, but she's got to show something, hasn't she? She hasn't shown anything. It's a bit the Gaelic Warrior all over again. I'm loath to back these horses that haven't shown anything and hope they bounce back. They might do, and if they do, they've got good chances. But they're not really priced up like the form they've been running at. Do you know what I mean?
They're priced up on the horse they were 12 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. And so therefore, I'm a little bit loath to be with her. As I say, I think Dino Blue and Only by Night would be my 2.
Paul Kealy, thoughts, feelings?
Yeah, Bride's Hill is priced up like an out-of-form horse, and her form is good enough to be much shorter than 20-1.
Yeah, fair.
She has been chinned at odds on twice, obviously, and once by Telepathique. But that Punchestown win last year was almost as good as anything in the race, wasn't it? And it's 20-1, and it's Gavin Cromwell, so that would tempt me. I do think Dino Blue should have won it last year. Glad he didn't, because I actually had a rare bet in a mare's race. I do think Cheltenham will need to jazz up the Friday, to be honest, though, because we've got a mare's chase, a hunter chase. You know what I mean? Only 2 handicaps. You know what I mean? Move it around a little bit. It just strikes me as being a dull final day.
Yeah, I think partly, I guess, is the point that then nothing takes away from the Gold Cup, and also the fact, partly David Stevens, I think, quite frankly, given the amount of money traded on Gold Cup Day, they could run 4
one of the
60s, really, couldn't they?
That's it, David. Isn't one of the biggest betting races the Hunter Chase?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Gold Cup is the biggest race of the week, and the shoulder races on the Friday are all in the top 10 of the year, including the Hunter Chase. So. The answer is, of course, move the Ryanair Chase to the Friday, because that is the best race of the week.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're not getting your free trip on the EasyJet next week, are you, my friend?
No. You'll be taking a hovercraft at this rate, I think. Dino Blue 6-4 favourite then. Okay. Anything else we haven't mentioned? Again, to be fair, you've just made a case of Bride's Hill there. I know you said Only by Night would have more of a chance of winning this, but like you said, Gavin Cromwell could have half the field here.
Yeah. He's got plenty of chances, isn't he? Yeah. No, it's
no love for Allegory de Vassy.
I think she wants to go right-handed. I think she wants to go right-handed. Doesn't stay that strongly at the top level.
She's a funny one, isn't she?
Doesn't win as much as she should. Yeah, I mean, she's one of those that's really, really talented, but not massively straightforward, I think.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
she's
what
been
I'd
here and
throw.
she's struggled before, hasn't she? Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
I would throw. I mean, I don't think she's going to run, but I thought Panic Attack was really impressive at Windsor when she won. I know you all backed her, and she was really impressive. Then she went back over hurdles last time. Now I think the Skeltons are planning up a handicap for her, but I wonder whether they might have a change of mind when they see this race, because it's not great. And she looked really good that day. She showed a really good, burst of speed from the last.
She also got thumped in the handicap, didn't she, as well? She went up £10 for that as well. So.
She did. She's not totally out of it on that Windsor run, I don't think.
Okay. David Stevens, Mare's Chase.
Panic Attack is a 33-1 shot. Obviously, that's non-runner money back. I've backed only by night for the Arkle, so she will undoubtedly turn up here and probably win.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. It's an age-old bomb-proof system, isn't it? Okay, what have we got? Anything else before we move on? Sorry. No.
Anything you want to share?
Is that one you can't possibly read?
No, I can read it out, but it would be hypocritical of me, because the one thing. Look, there's two things after last week that get more coverage than our opinions on the racing. One apparently is WWF, because we got so many comments about the Ultimate Warrior after talking about wrestling on Friday. Everyone was like, "How does Tom not know the Ultimate Warrior? He was the best when we were a kid." Honestly, I think we had 20 comments on Friday's show, and 10 of them were about wrestling. And the other one is what people wear on the show, which is very odd. Because it's absolutely guaranteed that 50% of the people at home are in pyjamas or tracksuit bottoms. But Harriet asking, is Paul Kealy wearing a J cloth as a shirt, did make me laugh. So
This
usually
was quite expensive from Dundonald Golf Club. This was
right. Okay, yeah, and you can also
Freebie then.
I bought it.
and it gets the oven absolutely spotless. But it's normally me and Tom that get stick, so it's fair that it balanced out. So thank you very much, Harriet, for making me laugh there. Okay, we're going to get best bets in a second. Very quickly, really interesting weekend. Obviously, Kelso and various other things. Anything coming up this week that we should keep an eye out for?
I got to be honest, I've spent the entire day going through handicaps at Cheltenham and haven't even got round to starting my...
Fair enough. Tom Segal, anything on your radar for Kelso? There's some right old entries.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting that the two JP McManus horses at the top of the market for Kelso were pulled out, weren't they? Joyeuse and McClory aren't entered in the More Battle. But it was interesting that Emmett Mullins is planning on running Vicio, which was impressive at the DRF. She was good on the flat too. She could have a few pounds in hand still.
Yeah, and the most interesting horse there is Petrolhead, isn't it? And who has been, has had a very interesting career to date, hasn't he? So lovely. Okay, right. Naps after this.
We're into the final bend of the Coral Fan Derby, where racing lovers of the UK are in a spectacular contest. And what's this? He's shaking his phone like it's a pocket-sized maraca. They're all getting rewards now. He's shaking it, she's shaking it, they're all shaking it. Play the free Coral Reward Shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers. Coral, we're here for it.
All right then. Turners, Ryanair, Mare's Novice, Mare's Chase. That's what we talked about. Anything from those that you've had a quid, or you would have a quid or two on from now?
Yeah, I mean, make sure it's NRNB, but Galileo Dame and the Mare's Novice Hurdle. Quite like her chances.
That's why you're wearing that shirt. It's the same. It's practically the same silks, isn't it? That's Galileo Dame silks. Isn't it? Yeah, there you go. Lovely. Tom Segal.
I wouldn't back anything in any of the races now, because I think you're going to get bigger prices on the day, most of the ones that we've talked about, if they're as competitive as we think. Of the race we talked about, I thought 6.5 maybe had the best chance of winning.
Okay. David Stevens, any for you?
Il est Francais in the the Ryanair Chase.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think, you probably knew I was going to say this, but I do think Telepathique has a big chance in that Mare's Chase, and I do think she would be a lot shorter if she was trained by trained by someone else. So there you go. NRNB for Keele selection and ESP for mine. Okay, good. We'll be back. When will we be back? Next Monday.
Next Monday, yeah.
Yeah.
I might not be here.
Nor my eye.
It's always 50-50 kills.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, are you feeling all right? Is it? That's 5 to 6 each and 2 normal, isn't it? But fair enough.
I'm here in body anyway, but mind, I'm not sure.
Right. Sorry, Tom. Where will you be?
Well, I'm supposed to be doing a Cheltenham preview in the studio.
I know you are. That's why I'm asking you. So where will you be otherwise? Well, just stay here then. Surely it's the first. Are you going to do it again? Aren't you? You get the one chance you get to be in the studio.
Absolutely, Ross. I'll be on a train home.
Absolutely disgraceful. David, you fancy coming in?
Well, I'll try and be alive. Let's start with there and take it from there.
Okay, fair enough. Set the bar low as per usual. Thank you. Right. Okay. Well, I'll be here next Monday. Talking to myself. See you there.